As we're getting closer and closer to the release of DLC 4, we're expected to be seeing a brand new perk being announced anytime soon, if not potentially with the release of the trailer for the brand new map. And we're back at the point of the game where we're here to speculate. From previous leaks that we've seen since November to speculations as a fan base of what the last perk could be. In today's video, I will go over the most likeliest perk that we will be seeing, unless Treyarch pulls another death perception where they pull a Black Ops 4 perk that you just never expected to see in the game. Before we fully do that, be sure to subscribe if you're new here. We are super close to hitting 29k and we're on the road to hitting 30k before the release of the next map. Probably not gonna happen, but at least we can get close. And also be sure to drop a like on the video. And something that I don't really say often but I'm seeing more of, if you ever want to get in contact with me in any kind of way, you can either follow my Twitter or join our Discord server down in the description and drop me a DM if you ever need me for anything like that. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the most likeliest perk that I am going to be expecting to see is PhD Slider. If you're wondering what PhD Slider is, it is a Black Ops 4 perk, but it's basically PhD Flopper in a way, but just not. If you know the perk Banana Colada, or more like Trailblazers on Infinite Warfare Zombies, there was a perk where you basically slid and left a fire effect behind you that would affect the zombies, or like Banana Colada, which was very similar. PhD Slider does the exact same thing, of when the player slides, it leaves explosives back behind him, which would basically kill zombies around the area, or at least stun them. The reason I'm saying PhD Slider is the most likeliest case that we will get instead of PhD Flopper itself is because if you introduce PhD Slider, in many ways this could work as a 2-in-1 perk. You could still have the effects of PhD Flopper inside of PhD Slider, but also get so much more out of it, which I feel like could benefit the next map and just overall Cold War zombies for the remainder of the game's life. Now I'll be going over some previously theorized tiers that I've seen on Reddit, and we'll be going over them and how they could actually work and how I feel like maybe some of them wouldn't really work. And in the end, I actually do really feel like PhD Slider is the most likeliest case. I don't think we're going to be seeing double tap, as double tap just feels like a perk that honestly has been scrapped from the game. I know we had all those leaks back in November of Mule Kick, Tombstone, PhD Flopper, and double tap jingles, but obviously since we've seen the introduction of Death Perception, either PhD Flopper or double tap have been scrapped. And since we've gotten the revert of the health cap in some kind of way, and the introduction of overpowered headshots and just the weapons in general, and from back when the game launched, Treyarch did kind of say that double tap is already implemented into the Pack-a-Punch machine. It's just more and more information, more and more things hinting at the possibility of double tap just not coming back in this game. Maybe we'll see it upcoming in Vanguard, since Treyarch might see the huge fan base that has been begging for that perk to come back, similar with Jug. So that's why I feel like PhD Slider is even more likely the case. And also in many ways, this could also mean that we might see some very interesting weapons coming in with the final map, and just explosives would be way more usable, way more overpowered than they already are. Things like lethals or more overpowered things like the War Machine would just work perfectly with this. So now I'm going to go over the theorized slash fan made skill tiers that were made. I don't know the original person, as I've just seen this being reposted everywhere on Reddit for the past few days and on Twitter, but I can confirm it is not official, so don't be expecting these to be the exact tiers. So the base version of this perk would basically give you explosive damage reduced by 50%, and on top of that, when sliding, you would create explosions that damage zombies and it would recharge over time. This does kind of feel like maybe something that Treyarch would go for, but I think they might ignore the 50% reduced explosive damage, as that does feel very unnecessary, and I feel like they could just include this in one tier as a full-on no actual damage or splash damage from anything. So in my opinion, the main thing that the perk would always come with, and the main thing that we should be expecting to see with it if it does get introduced, is the whole factor of explosives being shot out behind you when you slide in the game. The first tier, it says that explosion radius from sliding increases by 30%. This does feel like a very Treyarch thing to do, of just, you know, increasing something by a certain percentage, and maybe this would work in many ways, but I think any kind of explosions behind you, if it would have the same effects of, let's say, a Semtex or the War Machine, this would be actually very overpowered and in many ways could get you out of many sticky situations if you just get the opportunity to slide a tiny bit. Tier 2 says sliding explosions stuns special zombies. Now this is interesting since it does stun special zombies, not elites from this. That would mean that I feel like it would at least kill normal zombies. So where I said that I hope it will behave like a war machine, or let's say a Semtex, since they are extremely overpowered and deal 60,000 plus damage, this would be actually very useful. And the whole stunning factor of it, once again, just feels like another tier thing that Treyarch would do in my opinion. Moving on to tier 3, it says that carry an extra lethal equipment. This does already feel like we have it with something in the game. I'm not 100% sure which perk or what, and if anything at all, but we can already sometimes carry up to 5 Semtexes and 5, let's say, C4, which is quite a lot. So this doesn't feel that necessary, and I feel like this could be easily swapped out with something that could benefit us even more with things like, let's say, armor or anything like that. Maybe reducing armor being destroyed by some percentage because of the explosions or things like that, since obviously splash damage is still a thing. In my opinion, you don't need the 50% reducing. You could actually implement it into this tier itself and just remove the whole lethal, extra lethal thing. And moving on to tier 4, slide for a longer distance. Now this does actually kind of feel useful, and it will be quite enjoyable and fun to do on certain maps where there's like a larger amount of distance to travel, more like Outbreak where you have to run across very large distances. I feel like this would actually work pretty well if you, for example, use a combination of the brand new Psy melee weapon, which has the ability of making you jump very far, and it is supposed to be with the weapon, and then a combination of being able to slide far. You'd basically be able to do the Black Ops 3 movement of slide and jump, and I would actually love to see this being at tier if this perk does get implemented. And then the piece of La Resistance, the tier 5 upgrade, says immune to explosive damage, and this is where I said that they could just easily combine PhD Flopper and PhD Slider, because that's what you can just implement into the actual perk itself of the reduction to the explosions. Yes, maybe the perk wouldn't be called your favorite PhD Flopper that you've been waiting to see for the longest amount of time. Maybe the perk icon wouldn't exactly look like PhD Flopper. This is actually something very interesting that I found on Reddit itself, made by Zombie Warlock on the COD Zombies Reddit, and I feel like it's a great combination of PhD Flopper and a person sliding, which is the PhD Slider effect of it. And honestly, if you look at the PhD Slider icon, it's just like this reddish orange color, which we already have with Stamina Up and also Death Perception most recently. So getting a bit of more colors down there with your perks, since there is no perk limit, I'd love to actually see the PhD Flopper icon. So that's why maybe PhD Slider wouldn't be called PhD Slider, but it could easily be called with PhD Flopper, and just swap out some of the tiers for it to have the effect of sliding and just having immunity to explosives. Now again, I have to kind of specify, this could not be the case. This could not be the perk that we might be seeing in the future, and who knows, maybe they might pull a move on us where they reintroduce Widow's Wine, which is something I would absolutely love for them to do, but I highly doubt that they will ever reintroduce it. If anything, maybe in Vanguard. So I hope you guys enjoyed in some kind of way. I feel like next week we will be 100% getting the official perk announced, and I will definitely be making a video on it if it doesn't come out with the trailer for the map itself. And if you're wondering when we will be seeing the map itself, we will be seeing it releasing most likely on the 6th of October, which is a Wednesday, or preferably on a Thursday, which is October 7th, which is usually a normal time when Treyarch Activision usually drops seasons and things like that on a Thursday. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.